on taking care of the basketball and what kind of shots we wanted to get. I thought in the first half we had some opportunities. I said be careful what you wish for as a coach, because we're always trying to get our kids right now to rim run. Well, we were rim running and we were throwing the ball out of bounds, like to that kid, or they went through her hands, or we just didn't even get it to her. And so they're trying to do what we're asking them to do, but we didn't do it in a way that took care of the basketball. So that was kind of hard. So our message was about how do we take care of the basketball. I think we did a much better job. I think we had 8 in the first half and 3 turnovers in the second half. I thought we got better shots in the second half. We scored a little bit more efficiently, I believe. So, I think it's a combination of, it's hard to understand all those things at one time. They're probably listening to us and they're doing what we asked them to do. Just we were doing it at the expense of taking care of the basketball.
Obviously, when it's kind of a sluggish start offensively, people can look at the 10 o'clock start time, I guess. But how much of it was it, JJ kind of getting the too early fouls? And obviously, that changes things as well.
It does. I think what we have to do, what we have to figure out right now is how do we apply ball pressure but not give a lot up. And we gave some things up, and we fouled in some of those situations. And I'm not saying that that's exactly where JJ's were today, but just overall as a team we have to do that. And then I think we've got to find ways to get, touches inside, and we got some of those a little bit later. I think in the second quarter, it's kind of the free throw line area. So, it was sluggish. We didn't start off very well.
I think it was right at the start of the second half where Madison kind of hits that contested 3 on the wing, and you turn around to the bench and you threw your arms up, and then you turn back and you started just clapping. Was that being just surprised that went in, or
no, not at all? It was more of we were trying to work for a good shot. And I thought in the first half we took some shots that were quick, tough shots. And if we're going to take tough shots, we can get tough shots at the end of the shot clock too. We want to work for good shots and understanding what that looks like. And I thought that was a great shot. That was a great shot. I think she got an open one. The second one she took was a little more contested. She made that one, but then she was feeling it. And I think that's what's really important for us, is figuring out how do we attack, how do we get good shots. We have a chance to make good shots. You get in rhythm, you feel good, then you can take some tougher shots at that point in time.
Obviously, you rely on Madison to get you in your offense, but if she gives you 15 points and 3 triples in a quarter, how much of a bonus?
Yeah, it's great. I think she's someone who really has a scorer's mentality, and that's a great asset for us. And understanding, when good opportunities are is really important, and what that looks like. And I think that's something that we're all kind of working through at this time.
If you kind of look at the numbers through the first 2 games, the turnovers you guys have forced obviously stands out. But also, the rebounding's kind of been even. Threes have kind of been a struggle a little bit. What's your take on these first 2 games, and what needs to get better as you guys move forward?
Well, I think it's challenging for us right now because it's not like we have a base knowledge of when teams do this and then we want to change. The teams, we went out and we got the ball screen, double the ball screen early, and it kind of surprised them with it and got some turnovers. Now we want to switch to a different way to attack their opponent. What does that look like? And it's maybe some of those things we're just not as comfortable with at this point in time. We don't have a base knowledge. They do something different, or they're really attacking in this way. And even though we knew it was coming, we want to make an adjustment how we attack it. And the hard part for us is we don't have a lot of knowledge to fall back on and say, oh yeah, remember when we did this 2 months ago, 3 months ago, a year ago. We don't have that right now.
Is that patience on your part then? And is that not an easy thing to come by from the coaching staff?
Well, I think it's a couple things. I think we have to do a good job of really trying to help them understand. So we have to do a good job teaching, whether that's through film, whether that's through practice, whether that's through drawing it up, whatever that looks like. And each person learns a little bit differently. Sometimes it's just game reps. Sometimes it's we're trying to get ball pressure and we're turning some teams over, but then we're giving something up too. So can we do both? Can we really turn teams over, or are we just going to have to have some give and take with some of that? And I think that's a little bit of a learning thing from our standpoint. So one is we have to do a good job teaching it. 2, they've got to really want to learn it, and they do want to learn it. So we have that going for us. And then 3, I think we just have to see it enough times in games to feel comfortable with it.
Coach, along those lines, being that you did have over a week between the season opener and this game, with a quicker turnaround between this one and Sunday, is that going to be more beneficial to be able to correct those mistakes, make those adjustments in a game setting on Sunday?
I think so. I really do. You can look at it, and over the week we were also trying to be strategic about, how we wanted to add some different things that maybe we didn't see in this game, but maybe we see at another point in time. And, we have an opportunity now to get right back at it. And, App State is a team that really does a good job of attacking you. And so that'll be a good opportunity for us to play again on Sunday.
There's something outside of this game, college basketball in general. In football, there's the red shirt rule where guys can play a certain amount of games and still get a red shirt.
Right.
Obviously, in basketball, the rule's much different.
Right.
Once you play,
Yep.
There's been talk about maybe kind of switching that up a little, letting people play, what X amount. Your thoughts on does there need to be a change?
I think to keep it consistent across sports, it makes sense, because I think it's challenging for student athletes to understand why in one sport it applies but not in other sports. So I think from that standpoint, it certainly does. I think it's right now that there are a lot of challenges in college athletics, especially when it comes to years and years of eligibility and all those type of things. And I think it is challenging for some kids have had an opportunity to play next year because of COVID and those type of things. Other kids, not right now, don't necessarily have that. So I think there are a lot of different challenges with that.
At this point in the season, when it comes to your rotations, how much are you still experimenting, and how solid are you in terms of who's getting what minutes?
Well, I think we're still looking at a couple of different things, how players, kind of play together, what do we need in the game at that point in time. We played small for a little stretch, and at that point in time just switched all the ball screens. That put us in a tough spot a little bit with maybe Maddie and JJ guarding a post inside, but we did a good job with it for a short period of time. And so, but then we got to figure out how we're going to space the floor and how we're going to attack offensively. And so we're still looking at what makes the most sense. We talked to Kylie, in the end, and said, okay, we're going to experiment with us in this zone offense right now and see, because each post player that we have can run it a little bit differently. And so we're just kind of looking at what that looked like. After my initial reaction, I don't know that I really liked it, so we'll go back to what we were doing.
Obviously, Kaya. She played the most minutes today. How important is she to this team and what you're trying to do?
Well, Kaya's got a lot of versatility to her. She's versatile on both ends of the court. I think certainly, especially on the defensive end, she can guard inside, she can guard perimeter kids, she can get up in pressure, she can rebound. So she can really, fill a lot of different spots that way. And then on the offensive end, she has that understanding and versatility. And because she's been through it before, knows kind of where the good spots are to cut. And even though maybe she wasn't a kid that we wanted to use that cut in the past, she's seen it happen for a couple of years. And so then when we talk about it and we add that to it, she can kind of go out and do it. So I think she has obviously an advantage because she understands, but she also has the ability to be very versatile and play a lot of different spots for us, especially defensively.
Anything else for Coach?
See you Sunday.